The last few verses have been hammering home no birth. And what I mean by hammering home is that as enlightenment practitioners, when faced with this teaching, we have nowhere else to go but enlightenment. It's a symphony of no birth. It's not an idea. No birth is not an idea to play around with. It's not something that we have to try to get our heads around. It's another opportunity to get around our heads. No birth is not something to be understood. It's something to be realized. And these verses, this sequence of verses that we're looking at now, no birth is the punchline. Bam, 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 no birth, no birth, no birth. It should not only send our mind reeling, it should send it off into the distance, reeling off into the distance, until we come to something wonderful, something miraculous. And it's described in various ways, what this thing that we come to. It tends to not be described, actually, or to be described in terms of what it's not. It's not birth. It's not existence, or whatever. But it's good to have some indication of what it actually is, even though it isn't anything. Here's one description. Those who perform meditation for even one session. Meditation here can be the realization of no birth. Destroy innumerable accumulated sins. How should there be wrong paths for them? The paradise of Amida Buddha is not far. This is a verse from Hakuni's The Song of Meditation, which is given on page 134 of Conze's collection of Buddhist scriptures. The paradise of Amida Buddha is not far. So the question is, those who perform meditation for even one session, well, one session is described later on as the amount of time it takes and it's a stick of incense to burn. But I would describe one session as even just a few moments. The Amida paradise, the pure land, is not far. It's very near indeed. That's one way of describing what no birth is pointing to. Another description is that of the rainbow body. We can access the rainbow body, but I'll say more about that later. Let's have a look at the next verse. Verse 593. The mind liberated from its objective world, the getting rid of the twofold Svabhava, and this is the parikalpita and paratantra, which we've looked at on previous occasions, are turning up at the seat of mentation. This I state to be no birth. The mind liberated from its objective world, not from the objective world, but from its objective world, because the objective world is what is created by the mind. The objective world is what is created by the mind. You cannot have one without the other. Any notion of an objective world is simply that. It's a notion. A notion. An idea, an inference. our world consists of inferences and notions, of beliefs and assumptions. We actually live in a very abstract world, but we say it's reality, we say it's real, it's solid. As enlightenment practitioners, we know there's another option. To be in touch with what is right here. This is liberation from the mind-created objective world. The getting rid of the twofold Svabhava, parikalpita and the paratantra. Getting rid of it, saying bye-bye to it. This is the dynamic that we're constantly engaged in. All those things in the so-called objective world which trigger our moods, all the things in the objective world, that's the paratantra, and our mood pattern, our understanding, this is the parikalpita. There's a dynamic here. It's like a thundercloud building up a huge potential, ready to burst, always ready to burst. We can leave that cloud, let it drift on its way. We can let go of it. The cloud of our feverish thoughts, the cloud of our moods, our ups and downs, our passions. And we don't like to let go of our passions, do we? What's going to happen then? But let's not get into that right now. We have this option of leaving it all behind for this miracle that's being pointed to. So there's a sequence here. Liberation from the objective world. This is the understanding. The objective world is mind created. The experience is of us being affected by this world. Our moods arising in response to it, characterizing our interaction with the world. So there's a dynamic set in place. This is our experience, our feelings, our moods, our thoughts, our understanding. Dealing with this world that presents itself to us, trying to survive in it, trying to come to terms with it, trying to come to terms with the horrors and the needs and the desires and the feelings and other people, other entities, other cities, other countries, other nations. It's all there. It's what we call life. But it's something we can step back from, step back into our own sense of being from. So we realize this. And how we do this? Well, there's this turning up at the seat of mentation. This is where we actually have a choice. This is where we can exercise a choice. The seat of mentation. Mentation is the beginning of thought. It's where we direct our attention to. We need to observe this very closely. Where are our thoughts? And how did our thoughts get here? What is occupying our attention right now? Hopefully it's these words, and not simply these words, but where these words are pointing to. They're pointing to the seat of mentation. They're pointing to the origin of the attention. Observe how the attention is taken here or taken there. What is the attention focusing on? And is it focusing on something because it needs to? Or is it focusing on something because it's just its habit? Things need to be attended to. You need to get on with your life. But where is your attention when you're sitting in meditation or lying in your bed and perhaps you don't have much to do? Where does your attention go? And even if you do have something to do, which you probably do, you might be very busy. Where is your attention going? You're getting on with your tasks. But how are you getting on with your tasks? What is the mood that accompanies your tasks? Because that's where the attention really is. It's on the mood that accompanies your tasks. Is your attention focusing on building up a sense of martyrdom or of resentment at having to do these tasks? Or are you simply getting on with your tasks? This is always an interesting one. This is a major opportunity to practice. Where is your attention when you're getting on with your tasks? It should simply be on the task itself and not on stoking the mood machine. So this is the practice. This is observing the seat of mentation, observing where the attention is inclined to go. And realizing at that moment we have a choice to let it go where it habitually goes, or to come back to the realization of its own nature. And it's in that realization that you get on with your daily tasks. And this realization could be described in various ways. I described it as akin to something called the rainbow body, but I won't go into that right now. Let's just be more concrete and describe it as loving spaciousness. The attention, when it's resting in itself, is loving spaciousness. We allow everything to come and go, and that allowing is characterized by lovingness.